So I'm Saj Razvi. I am the founder and director of education here at PSI. I'm one of the sort of principal developers of the modality. And let me see, and normally I do a lot of talking on these videos, but happily in this one we've got other folks that are going to kind of lead the way, so you'll get to see this work look like through the lens of different personalities, right? So I think that I'm very excited about that. And after we do our intros, I will walk you through a little bit of theory so you have a sense whether you've trained with us. But particularly if you haven't trained with us, I think it's good to have a little bit of theory so you can have sort of a reference point for what's going on in the video that we're going to be watching. So with that, I'll just hand it over to you, Jackie, or Christian, whoever wants to go.
I can go. I'm Jackie Meltz. I've been a PSIP instructor for about 3.5 years now. Got trained when it was a cohort style, so not apprentice. So the very early days of the trainings, and have been predominantly doing PSIP work with clients, I don't know, the last maybe 2 years. Christian?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Christian. As I mentioned, I did my apprentice training last year in 2023. I'm still kind of in that apprentice role, which means I've been facilitating PSIP sessions regularly for my clients, still learning before I would go back to continue training for the master or instructor level. And just to give a little bit of context to the session today, this is a recording from my training week, which is like an intensive 5-day training model. And this is my final session of the week with Jackie. We'll get into a little bit more of what was going on, but this was still when I was very new to PSIP, PSIP. I had never facilitated it, so I had only experienced it as a client. And I think it's kind of a helpful window into what this type of work can look like. So I'm excited to get into it.
Okay, great. Okay, folks, so let's talk a little bit, give a little context in terms of theory to what you're about to see here. So one, I think, framework, one lens that you can look at every PSIP session through is that there's different layers of reality that are taking place, or different layers of memory that are taking place in the session and that the client system is responding to, right? So the reality that we tend to see is, the present moment reality. Here's two adults sitting in a room and they're doing a therapy session or a training session, right? But at the same time that that's happening, there's all these sort of layers of memory that we tend to have. Basically, we are creatures of memory. We cannot escape that. Even if you have practices that really pull you into being present, your biology is designed to operate through memory. It's a survival mechanism, and we won't go into sort of the details of it here, but just know that for not just in this session, but I think typically as we're walking throughout our lives, we have present moment reality on one hand, and then we have sort of a more implicit reality that's always playing out in the background. And this implicit reality is oftentimes what we would call non-declarative memory, meaning that it's not the type of memory that you can easily put into language. If it happens to be traumatic in nature and has a lot of charge to it, then it's also typically lives in dissociation. So we don't have conscious access to it, yet it's determining the course of our lives, right? Especially when people are being triggered by it. And so, in contrast to, I think, many modalities that would sort of support you to avoid being triggered and, help you with symptom management, what we're doing in the PSIP world is purposefully setting off the landmine, right? We're purposefully sort of going in, present moment reality, present moment Christian is here, and then here's this past reality that's emerging in the room. And so one of the things that you're not going to see here is the container that we build so that really is supportive of this memory moving from being implicit to being explicit, right? So we're pulling this memory from being invisible to us and pulling it to the foreground so your mind can see it, so your particularly of particular importance is that your nervous system can see it, because your system cannot process what it cannot see, feel, touch, smell, taste, right? So, and I think that's one of a huge component of treatment resistance in the field of mental health. You know, things that live in dissociation, that are implicit, that we don't have access to. It's very, very difficult to work with that through our minds, right? So we're very purposefully, designed a container in the PSIP model to pull this material forward and essentially kind of like purposefully trigger the reactions in the client system. But instead of this being triggered while you're walking down the grocery store aisle or in your kitchen over breakfast, it's being triggered in a well-held, highly attuned, highly relational context, right? And with people that are very well trained to sort of deal with the triggering that's coming up. So just kind of hold that. As we're watching this session, just know that Christian system is, maybe it's going to be very obvious to you, but a Christian system is responding to a very different memory than what is evidently available in the room. Anything either of you want to add to that framework?
No. About SI? Do you want to cover that?
Oh, sure. Thank you. So, folks, let me just tell you a little bit about that container. Again, we're not going to go into depth with it, but the core of it is that we are actively inhibiting voluntary coping mechanisms, voluntary management strategies, voluntary resourcing, anything that that you or your client would voluntarily do to calm your system down. We're inhibiting that in this container. The essence of it is what we're looking to do here is say, what happens to your nervous system organically if you do nothing to manage it, if you do nothing to push it around, to shape it, to change it, to alter it? What would it look like all by itself, right? And we're asking sort of the client to trust that their nervous system is going in a particular place, in a particular direction for a really good reason, which is part of the PSIP world. Or that understanding is part of our framework. So when we inhibit voluntary management, it's not like we're telling people then what to do, right? We're not telling people to, feel this way or have your arm come up like this or have any kind of movement pattern whatsoever. All we're doing is saying, like, inhibit the voluntary management. And what that ultimately leaves room for is an involuntary nervous system signal. Yeah? And typically what we find with this is that nervous system signal is very invested in taking us back to areas of compromise in our systems or areas of trauma where, we are there. There's reactivity, there's dissociation, all of that I would consider, compromise of your nervous system that you're living inside of. And so the signal is very interested in taking us back to that. And it does it all by itself. We don't have to direct it at all. Yeah.
And this is a sustained eye contact session, which is a form of container. Right. So what that means is you'll see Christian keeping the eye contact with me. Right. So, and it's a form of containment, right, of the visual field, basically. And, typically somebody, it's uncomfortable for pretty much everybody. You want to look away, right, because it's quite intimate. Right. And there's a lot, especially with medicine on board, that comes up in the relational field to deal with or manage. So that's another form of the container, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so that particular intervention that you're going to see here automatically makes the psychedelic session far more relational, right? So if you're new to this, maybe I should mention this now. This is not transpersonal work. This is not, taking high doses of anything and going to God or going to unity consciousness and doing that. That can be beautiful work all in its own, but that's not what we're doing in the PSIP world. We're saying let's take that psychedelic process and take it to the human realm where most of our wounding comes from. Yeah. And so when we're doing the sustained eye contact, as Jackie mentioned, there will be moments when people will really want to break the contact and look away. And usually, I would say pretty reliably, what we find is that in those moments when people want to break the eye contact, it's because something really difficult, something very uncomfortable is coming up in the in the contact between the two people. And so we want to explore that. Yeah. So usually what that uncomfortable piece is some kind of relational failing, it's some kind of attachment wounding, it's something in the relational field that that's arising now in present moment reality. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Christian, do you want to give any other introduction to or context to the?
I don't think so. I think it's a good place to start, and we'll just get into it and share what comes up.
Okie doke, let's do it.
I feel my arms. I don't feel much else in my body. Yeah. Can I look at both of you? Or should I keep eye contact on one person?
Yeah, just try to stay with me.
Stay with
for
you.
now, yeah.
Okay.
And really see what this is like.
I feel like gripped is the best word for it.
Like you're being gripped?
Yeah. Like around my torso and spine.
Okay.
Just like a hand is just gripping it.
Yeah.
Big hand. It's as
Big
big as my
hand.
torso.
Okay, so let's go into that. Yep.
Feels like your eyes are getting deeper. Like I'm going deeper into your eyes.
Ah, what's that like? What's happening as you look at me? What do you see?
I just see your eyes. You don't seem as much of a person anymore.
Yeah, what do I look like?
You look the same, but it just feels more blank.
I seem more blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like two-dimensional?
No.
No.
Like I don't feel like emotion channeling back and forth between us.
Yeah.
Like I did a minute ago.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not feeling anything toward you?
Maybe I'm not feeling anything toward you.
Saj, can you
Yeah,
pause
so
it?
notice that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight, I didn't, if I had a do-over, I would have said, yeah, notice that right hand, because you can see both of his hands. His right hand was starting to shake a little bit, right, and then the left hand came online. So, right, as he's noticing what's in the relational field here with me, that I look blank, he's noticing my eyes, right, his body, his nervous system is having a reaction to that, and you can see it in his hands, particularly the right hand.
Yeah, and Saj kind of mentioned this in the preamble, but this is all autonomic. This is not, I'm not voluntarily doing that. And you'll see as this session goes, the autonomic movement will get quite intense, but yeah, that's the start of my nervous system recognizing what's going on here. That makes me sad.
Yeah, that is sad. Yeah. Yeah. Am I feeling anything toward you?
I just feel like I'm feeling a lot toward you.
You are now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big wave
Yeah.
of feeling that toward you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me feeling it toward you. I feel like you're not seeing me.
I'm not seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really notice that.
I thought it'd be useful here just to point out that we're not rescuing the client, right? If anybody out there is just watching this and, at this moment, Christian just said, I feel like you're not seeing me, right? And I think, there might be an impulse to say, to correct the client, to disagree with the client, to say, oh, no, I am seeing you. I'm right here, right? But again, think of it this way, that there's a nightmare that's living inside of Christian, right? Or your client. And we are very invested in watching this nightmare emerge to the surface. And it is a bottom-up emergence, right? This is not sort of, like oftentimes clients will not have a clear idea of sort of what's coming up or where their system is taking them, but they'll get these fragments of like sensation and feeling and like a mood or like a sense of the world that is a very bottom-up thing that starts to emerge. And the more we stay in the container, the deeper we go into that world.
I'm just in my head, like repeating the question. Are you seeing me?
Yeah. Am I seeing you?
That question just keeps like cycling through my mind.
Yeah. So check it out. Am I seeing you? Yep. Right hand.
That feels uncomfortable.
What's uncomfortable about it?
The hand just feels like simultaneously like stiff and concrete.
Yep. Yeah.
The hand feels cold.
Cold. Okay. Yeah. Notice the cold. Yep. Yeah.
Now I'm noticing tightness all up my arm.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yep. So really feel that tightness. Yeah. Is it in your shoulder too?
Not fully in my shoulder. More like in the back of my arm.
Yep. Notice that hand moving forward. Yep.
And now my stomach feels tight.
Yep. So feel all this tension, tightness. Yep. Hand coming forward. Yep. And notice how I feel to you also as this is happening.
That just feels like nothing.
Nothing. I don't feel anything.
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't care about you.
It's not that you don't care. It's just you don't see.
Oh, I don't see.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
It
really
doesn't
notice
feel
that.
emotional. It just feels like that's just real.
It's
That's just
real.
what it is.
Yeah. I just don't see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So really notice that.
Can we pause for a sec, Saj? It's really, for me, it's so interesting watching this back and listening to what I'm saying, because in the session, and you'll see moments here where I realize what's happening and it elicits a huge emotional reaction that's about to happen. But as I'm watching this again and I'm hearing, like, I start by saying the question cycling in my mind, do you see me? Do you see me? And immediately after that, my body starts turning on. And then all of this is happening. And then I come back and I say, well, there's not even emotion. You just don't see me at all. And as I hear myself say that, it's so obvious to me that to Saj's point earlier, that's the thing back here that's always existing. That's coloring the way I relate to people, coloring the way my relationships are, wondering like, do you actually see me, and questioning if I have the capacity to actually bring that into the relationship and to be seen. Again, that's me processing it now, and it's really mind-blowing for me to watch this and see that my body is playing out that experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought another interesting piece of this moment is just how what you said here, Christian, was it's not even a question, it just is, right? So it's not like this piece of reality is showing up not with like a wondering to it, not with curiosity, not with like, oh, maybe the world is like this or not. It's just, it's so certain that like you don't see me, you know? So I think there's a real immersive quality to these trauma memories as they're emerging here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Oh, I feel
Before we
uncomfortable. It's like my
resume,
arm wants to keep.
Yes.
yes, sorry to interrupt you guys, but I should mention also that the Q&A feature is on. So if you have any like questions that you'd like to ask towards, we'll have a question and answer portion later on in this presentation. So we'll pull from those from the question and answer tab, and also you can raise your hand later and ask your questions yourself. We'll give you the mic, and we can talk. We can have a conversation that way. That's it. Thank you.
Reaching, but my torso is like not.
Yeah, so really feel this, right? This dilemma. Your torso won't let you.
I'm reaching
Your hand
for
is
you.
reaching. Yeah, I know. I see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just feel this. Yeah. Reaching for me. Yeah. Wanting contact. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My body knows that.
Yep. Yeah. Your body's showing us. Your hand. Reaching.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't see you. There's nothing here.
Well, it feels like I know I have to reach out for you.
Yeah. I know that.
But there's something that really not letting me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I still don't want to.
Yeah. So let's focus in on that. Yeah. So that was in your torso before.
The part that wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, I think it's maybe worth talking about what seems to be pretty clearly emerging here, right? There's desperation, and desperation to reach for Jackie, and also there's like the complete counter response which is taking place, which is, you know, like what was it in the torso or the yeah. Like being completely planted and completely unable to reach for Jackie at the same time. Right? So in a way, I mean, I think if we're looking at this through a, you know, psychotherapeutic lens, then I think we'd say that, oh, this is ambivalence playing out here, right? But I think the beauty of it is that this is not a theory, this is not an idea of it, this is not like conceptual in any way. This is like the body fundamentally playing out ambivalence of desperation both ways, desperate to reach out, desperate to not reach out. Right? And I think one way of like thinking about this is that there's typically what we see in this work is that, you know, the medicine plus the person's autonomic nervous system is very interested in surfacing the central dilemma of their life. Right? And then once that gets resolved, then there's other dilemmas that you know, like secondary dilemmas and things like that. But you know, I would say for many people who I don't know if this goes all the way back to attachment. I would guess it probably does, but for many people, you know, their attachment is kind of a central dilemma to not only their past relationship, but their current relationships as an adult. They're playing out their attachment style, which I would suggest that anything other than secure attachment is compromise. Yeah. Thoughts from you guys about it?
Yeah, it's such, I mean, for me, it's like what's demonstrated here is that it's such a bottom-up process. Like literally one part of his body, his chest, you'll see the torso area, right, is holding back from the connection, right? And then the right arm, right, is desperately reaching. So this is a very bottom-up process, right? And right, bottom up, and then mind, right, make the way that the transference is playing out, right? The internal conflict is in the body, and then the transference is you don't see me. I have this desperate longing, but you don't see me, right? And then this huge, desperate dilemma, right? And then kind of there's a feedback loop that tends to happen, right? The more that he's registering in the relational field, the more the body responds, right? But ultimately it's bottom up, right? Bottom up, and then how the mind, right, makes sense of it and then deals with that conflict, right? And the body as well, right? This feedback loop that's happening.
Yeah, that's interesting hearing you say that too, Jackie, because you can almost see it. Like the body happens, and then I say, "Oh, I'm reaching for you." Like it's an aha moment that like my mind is catching up to what the body is doing, and then immediately an emotional reaction because to Saj's point, like that is such a lived experience for me. I want to be close to you. I want to be connected. I want to reach out to you, but something will not let me. It just won't let me. And I remark on this throughout the session, but fundamentally, this feels like a microcosm of my life, of relationship. So you'll see how that continues to play out. But
let's see what's here now around that. Like that holds you back from reaching out toward me.
I feel like I'm guarding myself from you.
Yeah.
Like I want to go into your eyes, but I can't find
Yeah, so really
a way.
notice that. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes me feel sad again.
Yeah, that is sad. Yeah. Wanting to go into my eyes, but not knowing the way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Your eyes seem like black now. Just like cloudy.
Yeah. Okay, so notice that.
There's just like clouds over your eyes.
Yeah. Clouds over my black eyes. Yeah. Yep, so you can't see my eyes clearly.
No.
Yeah.
They seem super distorted.
Yeah.
Foggy.
Foggy.
Yeah, like looking through clouds.
Yeah. What do you notice about the rest of me?
Not really anything.
Am I just cloudy eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, it's so strange. I don't really feel anything about it again.
Okay, yeah, just notice
I
that.
just feel nothing toward it.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah. Just cloudy eyes. Yeah, so just keep noticing my cloudy eyes.
Yeah, so what he's describing is like I'm predominantly in dissociation, right? This is what he's seeing. All I am are just these eyes, but there's clouds over them, right? I'm not even a real person, right? So talk about like, then how do you connect, right? There's just these cloudy eyes. There's like nothing essentially or very little, just these black cloudy eyes, no real person, right, to connect to. So just to really like help to understand this dilemma even more. Like and how alone, right, somebody would feel if that's their experience of the other person.
I'll share that a lot of times what this looks like, certainly it's looked like this for me, if you've had like, you know, kind of these types of relational woundings or abandonment such that, you know, you had to dissociate around that relationship, then the clearing of it can absolutely look like this, where you're getting parts of somebody. Or my experience with it was, even if there's a contact being made, like I'm reaching out and touching my therapist's hand and arm, it doesn't feel human. It doesn't feel real. It feels like a mannequin arm or something like that, something that has the shape of what's supposed to be human, but it's made of plastic or it's made of rubber, but it's not living and breathing, right? So again, it's like, I think that sense of unreality of the relationship tends to make its way into physical form.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if he just said it, he's perceiving my eyes as dark. I think he might have even said it black. I don't know if it's here or later in the session. My eyes aren't dark. They're like a kind of, they're hazel, right? So this is the transference, guys, right? What he's seeing is not actually me. It's a projection, right, of his past relationship or relationships.
Yeah, no, he already said that. He said your eyes are totally dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sobering realization when you start to realize, like, wow, your grasp of objective reality may not be as solid as you think, as you would like to think that it is. Yeah.
I can see you clearer now.
Okay. Was that you doing that?
I after I did that, immediately I had the question.
Yeah.
Did I do that, or was that my body?
Yeah.
I think I did it.
Yeah. That was my sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just come
I
back
broke
to
the
my.
SI.
It's okay. Yeah. So
Damn
just come
it.
back to my eyes. Let's see
Okay.
what's here now.
It actually it feels like my body is being pulled up slightly. It's like
Yeah.
not fully separate.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell where it's being pulled up from?
My chest,
Your chest
and my torso,
and your torso. Yeah. So,
pulling me toward you.
toward me.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
really see what this is like. Yeah. Yeah. You really want to come toward me? Come into my eyes, reaching toward me.
But like, my body won't let me.
I know, I see that. Yeah. 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 So I want you to really notice all the ways that your body won't let you. So right now. Yeah. Yeah. Are you still floating?
It's so hard to explain. I feel like I'm in my body, but it's just fucking useless. It's just like useless.
Useless. Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel heavy?
I just feel totally incapable. I have no muscles. I have no bones.
No bones.
I can't even.
Yeah. Useless body. No muscles, no bones.
It wants to reach towards you so bad.
Yeah. 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 Do you feel that in your body right now?
In my chest.
In your
Just
chest.
in my heart.
Yeah. Chest and heart wanting to reach toward me. Yeah. But not being able to.
Oh.
Yeah.
It just hurts.
Yeah. It hurts.
Oh.
Yeah. Feel the hurt. Yeah.
Folks, I feel like we didn't mention this. Maybe I missed it, but I just want to remind everybody, the medicine that we're working with here is 2 puffs of cannabis, right? I mean, and obviously, this reaction doesn't happen when you use cannabis recreationally. It's a psychedelic insofar as it really changes its nature. It changes what it's doing in your system based on the context, based on the container here, based on the relationship. And so, whether we call cannabis a psychedelic or not, I think it is an incredibly, incredibly useful medicine when it comes to psychotherapy, right? That it really takes away a person's executive functioning, right? So it's harder to tell stories on cannabis, but what it gives you is access to this, access to like all these places inside of yourself that you've been geared and organized to never touch or see because they're so exquisitely painful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I
would
think, oh,
go ahead, Kristen.
okay. I was just gonna say, I think this part right here is indicative of Jackie not rescuing me, which Saj had said earlier. This is one of my favorite parts of PSIP because you can see that if Jackie reached out and grabbed my hand, it wouldn't be the opportunity for my body and my nervous system to play out and kind of resolve this fundamental issue. And so she's just asking me to be in it and to feel like the depth of this struggle, this uselessness, which from, if you're not used to this type of work and you're kind of doing more traditional talk therapy, it's really different. It's different to kind of encourage a person to be with it on this level. And you'll see how that continues to play out and how much more it brings out of my system.
Yeah, and Christian's system has the capacity to go into the negative transference. That's why I'm leaning into it with him and not rescuing him. Other people may not, right? So you would need to do more, provide more solution, do more leaning in, maybe hand holding, physical contact. But if you notice, like his system is shifting, right? It's going into dipping into dissociation and then sadness, grief, and then into activation in the body. So things are shifting, right? New material is coming up. So as long as that's happening and he's able to be with it and stay in container, right? That's what we want, right? But just to also say, like, this isn't an approach you would use for anybody, with anybody, right? To just really stay in the negative transference. Some people just don't have, their system doesn't have the capacity to stay in it and be present with it.
You could build up to it, but
Yes, good point.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Wanting so badly to be close to me, to make contact.
Yeah.
let me pause this for a second and shrink this.
We can see it just fine,
Okay.
Saj.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I immediately feel relief. With my eyes closed, like you can't see me anymore.
Ah.
I'm just like, thank God.
Okay, yeah. So feel the
You
relief.
can't see me.
Yeah, I can't see you.
Oh,
Yeah, such a relief.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's in your body now?
A lightness. Like a little bit of freedom.
Freedom. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there any floaty?
A little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit, yeah.
Like kind of through the front of my body. Just like, just barely hovering outside my body.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's watch the floaty. Hovering just above your body. Yeah, and I can't see you.
I forgot you were here till you just spoke. Completely forgot you were here. I just feel kind of disappeared.
Tell me about that. So
It feels like you're looking at the couch and you should see me, but you see nothing.
so there's nothing there.
There's nothing here.
Nothing there. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, folks. So this is more physical embodiment of dissociation. Yeah. It's all over the place here. Floaty is dissociation. For people that have trained with us, this would be state 4 on the nervous system map. The fact that, Christian completely forgot about Jackie's existence is dissociation. And then he's also blanked out, right? That you should, where I'm sitting on the couch, you're just seeing the couch, right? So this is all different ways. There's an endogenous opioid release that's happening here, and all different ways that his system is blanking out this incredibly, incredibly painful memory. And folks, again, this is essential to have this. It's essential to sort of engage with dissociation, because, I mean, if you don't, you can't, you can't talk your way through dissociation. You cannot sort of there's a lot. The core of trauma typically resides in dissociated states. And so for us to sort of really find resolution of those symptoms, we really have to go and engage with the dissociation, as opposed to avoiding it, right? As opposed to trying to sort of, stay in a more, window of tolerance and not enter this state of hypoarousal. So I'd say that this is kind of an essential part of the model.
So tell me about that. So no body?
No body.
No body. Yeah. Okay. And what do you notice? Are you just energy?
Starting to feel a heaviness in my arms.
Okay. Let's watch that.
Big heaviness.
Yeah, but the rest of you is gone.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Where did the rest of you go? Who are you?
Oh, I'm just like only this right arm.
Only this right arm.
It's
Yeah, just this heavy arm. Yeah. And what's around you here? You take a look around.
It's hard to find that.
Yeah, are you mostly aware of your right arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Saj, can you pause? Yeah, so what's interesting about Christian's system is that he doesn't stay in state 4 very long at all. It's a very short amount of time, right? So he was floaty, didn't have, or earlier on, like he didn't have really, most of his body was in dissociation, right? It just wasn't there. He was just a heavy arm, right? So in this model, we want to help the person to associate to what's in dissociation, so state 4. So that's why I'm asking you kind of like, what are you? Are you energy? If you look around, right? And you'll notice he didn't respond immediately, because that's not where his focus was. It was more, he was coming back into his body more, and his focus was more in his right heavy arm, right? So he was coming back into his body, and you'll see that play out several times in the session. He doesn't stay in state 4, the more extreme type of dissociation, for very long at all. He comes back to body, and then things start to get rolling again.
Yeah, and just a brief note on dissociation. As a client, I've noticed for myself, to Jackie's point, she's asking, "Are you energy? What are you like?" Dissociation is actually a nuanced state, and associating to it, like it's completely changed my ability to relate to my world and other people, and dissociation by going through these sessions and associating to it in those places. So that's just kind of an effect of this model. I've seen that in myself. I've seen that in my other clients as well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, let me do the share again. Okay.
Yep. Moving, going up slowly.
It feels like it wants to push into my belly.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm like really aware of my belly now.
Okay,
My
so you can
stomach.
feel your belly.
Oh,
Can you feel the rest of your body? Besides arm and belly?
I can feel tightness in my back and the back of my legs.
Okay. Yeah. So let's watch that left hand coming up really tight. Left hand and arm.
Oh,
Right hand, I mean.
my
Yeah.
belly.
Yeah, your belly. Really tight?
Yeah, tight
Yeah.
and just like uncomfortable.
Yeah. And notice me too as this is happening. See how I feel?
Oh, I keep forgetting you're here.
Yeah. Yep. Belly really tight. Yep, yep. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Tight belly?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
It like feels like I'm gonna throw up. But part of
yeah.
me knows I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. And is there an impulse? Yeah, yep. And is there an impulse here? Can you feel that? Yeah, hand coming up. Yep. Yeah, really notice that right hand, what that's doing. Yep. Yep, really feel these muscles, tight muscles, yeah. Tight stomach, tight arms. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, hands coming closer, up. Yep, coming toward your neck.
Again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Yep, really notice that right hand. Yep, coming around your neck. Yeah. Yep. Yep, just let it happen. Right here with you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Notice that right hand. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep, stay with it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
You touch.
You need to.
Totally.
Yeah, totally stuck. Feel the stuck and rigid. Yeah. Where do you feel that?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
I guess no, mostly in my stomach again.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Yep.
happening?
Right hand. Yeah. Yep. Yep. There's more. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Christian, would you say that what we're looking at here is perpetrator hand?
Not that I'm conscious of.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is a familiar autonomic movement that I do though, and I've done it in multiple PSIP sessions and in other medicine work. It happens often.
Mm.
And I've tried not to get too lost in identifying why. But there's some curiosity, and I can't tell you that in my, you know, life now that this has happened, unless it's an absolutely so repressed, I have no access to it.
Does it feel, well, okay, right. And I was going to ask, does it feel like choking? But you might not have access to that information, but maybe you have access to, does it feel malevolent?
No, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't. Okay, great. That's
No.
really good information.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So folks, this is great, right? So, I mean, I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like, okay, that looks like Christian being choked, but that would be an interpretation, right? But so again, we don't have to interpret anything. Also, you'll notice like how little story we actually have in this session, right? There's almost no story. We're not like, this is not the story of that is, you know, being put into narrative form, but it's direct experience that's being expressed here, right? So all we need to know is that for whatever reason, this is happening with his hand, and we don't know how it fits into his history, his life, but clearly there's something to it because it happens repeatedly. But what we do know is that it's not malevolent, and typically, if you know people have had sort of perpetration that's being reenacted in these sessions, that's how they'll experience their own hand as malevolent. Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Jackie.
Yeah, and just to add to that, right? So this is the same hand, right, that was reaching for connection, right? And what we're seeing is there's been essentially nobody to connect to, right? So the way that I think about this, right, that reach is getting turned toward him. Like it can't go to the other, right? Because of all the negative transference. So it has to get turned on himself. It has to find another pathway. And that pathway, the way I understand it, right, it's getting turned on himself, what looks like choking. And when I've worked with people that have a similar impulse that gets redirected to them, often what tends to follow is like self-attack, right? They have thoughts of, you know, just really viciously attacking themselves. So the way I think about it is, right, a really healthy impulse toward connection and relationship that doesn't have a pathway, right? And then it gets turned on the self.
Yeah.
Well, that's my sense of it. I'm curious what Christian thinks about that. I don't know if that quite fits your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely resonates. I hadn't thought of that interpretation until you just said it. And one of my favorite things about PSIP, honestly, I didn't like it at first, but it's the lack of like assigning meaning to it. I thought that was kind of weird when I did the training with Saj. And now that I've been in it more and I've kind of I can see how kind of divorcing it from a story allows for more of the autonomic process to play out. And I would be curious to hear what you think about that, Saj. Maybe that's for me specifically, but I find that mind track of meaning, I see it in my clients all the time. If they're fixated on meaning, we lose a lot of the ability for the body to process.
Yeah.
At least in the session. Maybe afterwards, you know, we can subscribe some, but
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And the other thing that can do is, you know, people have an idea of what is going on, and then they can try and shape their experience to fit this idea. You know, shape their direct experience to fit the narrative that they think has played out in their life. And so we really encourage people to not know, to you know, let their system. They might think that their hand is going to do this, but it might do something completely different. So let it be a very surprising unfolding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, really feel that right hand. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, it wants you so bad.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Will you hold my hand,
Yeah,
please?
right here. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel
Hey, that seems significant. Right? So, because up until now, there's been, so if you didn't hear, Christian just said, it wants you so bad, could you hold my hand, please? And up until now, it's wanted Jackie so bad, but the other part of it didn't show up. Right? I want to reach out to you so bad, but I can't. That's what was going on before. So I want to suggest that this is what evolution looks like. You know, it's not full. There's still a lot of impediment to it. There's still a lot of ambivalence playing out, but this is what evolution of that process looks like. It's like can finally begin to reach out in some way.
yeah, it's like until now the capacity to make a request, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And as I think back to the session, like it literally didn't. There was no part of me or my system that considered that I could just ask for it until now, for whatever reason.
Yeah. I would say that's kind of what the shifts look like in PSIP, right? They're not, when people finish waves like this, when they go through this, they don't typically end with like big insight, right? They don't have like more like understanding necessarily. They don't have like, their systems are not connecting the dots anymore necessarily. They could be, but the core area of transformation in this model is that all of a sudden options show up in your system that were not options before. Or you know, places that you would have reactivity, you don't have reactivity. Right? You're not on rails. You're not sort of stuck and, you know, forever going down this one particular pathway simply because, you know, your nervous system is so charged up. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Is it still here?
Yes, it's all right here.
All right there. Yeah. Really feel that tightness.
It hurts so bad.
So bad. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Just stay with it. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Going to the side. Yeah. Really hurts.
I'm like scratching at it.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah, just stay with it. Stay with it.
I don't want to be here.
I know, you don't want to be here. Say that again.
I don't want to be here.
Yeah, you don't want to be here.
I don't like this.
And you are. This is where you are.
No.
You don't want to be here. I know.
I feel like giving up. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
Let's see what your body does.
I just want to fucking give up.
Yeah, let's give up. Yeah.
I just want to give up.
Yeah, let it give up. Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot.
So just a quick note here, giving up is also a nervous system state. Right? So on the nervous system map that we reference a lot, this is state 3. And, you know, so basically Christian's system was attempting sort of to go into a wave around the contact with Jackie. It was experiencing a lot of sympathetic activation, but there was still more give up in the system. Right? And when people give up like that, beautiful, we'll encourage it, we'll support it. We're going to be in relationship with you no matter where you go, right? If you go into terror and panic because you're finally being seen, beautiful, let's have that. If you're going into just complete hopelessness and giving up and collapse, wonderful, we'll join you there. So we're not pushing people around here, right? We're just accompanying their nervous system wherever it goes.
Oh, no.
What? Is there more?
I just want to give up.
You just want to give up. Yeah.
I feel so hopeless.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, there's no hope. You just have to be alone.
I'm so hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Where's the discomfort?
In the side of my body. And also just I don't know.
Yeah, uncomfortable here with me.
Yeah, just everything. I'm just uncomfortable.
Everything, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable because you're touching me. But I also need you to touch me.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, this is a dilemma. Yeah. I'm still uncomfortable, too.
Oh, now I just feel like...
When somebody's in a dilemma like that, he's like, you can tell Christian's irritated at this, right? He's like, I'm uncomfortable because you're touching me. but I need you to touch me, right? Like, that is such a great dilemma to become associated to, right? It's an uncomfortable spot, but, and fortunately, the system's not just gonna rest here, right? We're in process, and part of being in process is reassociating to the, like, the unworkability of these places that, the unworkability of what relationship looks like in Christian system, right? It's so uncomfortable to have it. It's so uncomfortable to not have it. So great, we're in process. Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, tell me about nothing.
I just feel like I'm just like melting again.
Yeah, melting. Okay.
Same shit.
Yeah, let's watch you melt. Yeah. Yeah, just come back to your body.
Oh, it feels like, oh,
Yeah, melting more.
whoa.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just really melt. Be with the melt. Yeah. What's this like? What does it feel like in your body?
Melt.
Melt, yeah. So limp.
Totally limp.
Yeah. Any temperature in your body?
No.
No.
So can you pause?
And what's this like? Is this good? Not good?
Feels good.
Feels good, yeah. Good job.
I'm splattered and just
Splattered.
not here.
Not here. Yeah, but you can still feel your body. Check it out.
I can feel your hand in my foot.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I can feel where we're touching.
Yeah. How about the rest?
Oh my God, there's not much else online.
Much. Okay. Yeah. So take me with you to where you are now, what you're noticing. So you can't feel your body except hand and foot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I actually feel pretty calm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And where are you now?
Oh, that's a good question. Not here.
Not here. Yeah. So check it out.
Oh,
Where is not here?
just floating above my head.
Ah, floating.
Something that I would encourage people to do as they're watching this part of the video is check in with yourself, right? Because we're watching a very dissociative part of Christian's process right now. And notice if you went away during this segment, right? Notice if you got bored, if you started thinking about other things, if, something just started intruding in and you also went away, right? So just something to be aware of in terms of process.
Above your head, yeah. How far above your head?
Just like a couple feet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's just notice that. Mostly not in your body, floating a couple feet above your head. Not here. Yeah. If you take a look around, what do you notice?
God, I can feel you looking at me.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at you. Yeah? What's that like?
I don't like it.
You don't like it, yeah. Yeah. Let me say that again.
I don't like you looking at me.
Yeah. Yeah. And how about the rest of you? Can you feel the rest of you?
Damn. Floating away.
Yeah, floating away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about that.
It feels like I can't control that. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
floating away.
Well, let's just really watch that. Yeah. And how far away from me are you now?
I just don't know how to explain it. For my body, you're right here and you're close.
Mm-hmm.
For my mind, I've separated the part of me that needs you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's really focus on that. Yeah. far away from me. Mind is far away. Yeah. And where are you? If you look around, where are you in this faraway place?
Oh, my whole right side just like woke up.
Oh, okay.
Ow.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
You still far away?
No.
No, you're back.
I feel like half a person.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mind is half gone.
Oh my god, like only my right side.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really feel that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Where do you feel it the most?
My right side.
Yeah, the whole right.
Before we go on with sort of what's about to happen here, I just want to point out what a lovely intervention that was by Jackie, right? So basically, we're getting the no side of the ambivalence now, right? So before that, we got, the big, like, can you hold my hand? That's a big yes kind of attachment request on the part of Christian towards Jackie. And now they're holding hands, but he's not there, right? He floated away, he's gone. He's essentially saying no to her. And we might, speculate that maybe there's negative transference that's also taking place in that relationship now. I'd be curious to hear about that, Christian, but regardless, even though he's floating away, so I would say the leaving the relationship, leaving Jackie is like a foreground experience, right? He's floaty, he's going away. And yet, like a background experience is that he's completely tethered to her as he's leaving her, right? So in other words, he's describing to her that he's floating away. There's enough relationship there, there's enough trust there that he's saying, I don't like it when you see me, right? And so think about that. Think about what it would take for you to say that to somebody else, right? It would take trust. It would take relationship. It would take like you caring enough about this connection with somebody for you to actually say to somebody that you're disappointed in them, or there's something negative happening in that relationship. So the proposal here, the suggestion here is the foreground experience is negative transference and more distance. The background experience is still relationship, right? And that's what we're relying on here, right? So either of you want to comment on?
Yeah, I think I want to add, I think this is one of the most beautiful aspects of the model, is that we're allowing them to go away from us. And we're not imposing our need whatsoever, right? What we're doing is actually the opposite. And what we often say in these kind of situations is, I'm going to follow you wherever you go. As far away as you go from me, I'm going to follow you, right? If you have to float away from me, if you have to go to a place where you don't have a body, I'll still be right here with you. And I think that's just such a beautiful part of the model, right? Giving them and their system the complete freedom to go wherever they need to go, knowing that you're going to be right there with him, even right there with them, even if it's really, really far away, even if it's outer space, right? They're going to be following them.
Even if it's alters, even if it's subpersonalities, yeah, that's very far away.
Yeah. Yeah. So really feel that.
Like it's twisting me again.
Oh, okay. Yep. Whole right side. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Let it twist you if that's what it wants to do. Yep. And twisting you down toward the couch.
Yeah. Yeah, like pulling me down.
Pulling you down.
Into the couch.
Pulling you down into the couch.
Spiraling.
Yeah. Spiraling. Yeah. Really feel that. Pulling you down into the couch. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Pulling you in. Yeah. Yep. Stay with it. Yeah. Right here. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
It's my leg pulling me so hard.
Yeah, so feel that leg pulling you so hard. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Feel that leg. Just pulling. Yeah, it fucking hurts. Yep, let it hurt. Yeah, let it do its worst. Yeah. Yep, stay with it. Yep. Feel that left leg pulling. Feel the tension. Yeah, you're doing great. Stay with it, Christian. Yeah. Yep. Left leg still pulling?
Everything. The whole bottom is pulling.
Whole bottom is pulling. Yeah, really feel that. Yeah. Yep. You're doing great. Yeah. That's how you feel. Yeah.
I feel so hopeless again.
So hopeless, feeling hopeless. Yeah. So hopeless.
And helpless, I guess.
Helpless, yeah. There's no way out here. Yeah.
Oh my God. I just feel like so helpless.
Yeah, so helpless. Yeah, how do you feel that in your body?
It just like gives up again.
Gives up, like goes limp.
Yeah.
And what's your sense of me now?
You feel far.
I feel far. Yeah. Far.
You feel like you're on a really tall thing looking down on me.
Ah, I'm looking down on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, really far away. Yeah. What's that like?
Oh. I think maybe the closest thing I could say is I feel shame.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking down on you. And what's here in your body as I'm looking down on you?
A sickness in my belly again.
Like nausea?
Yeah, but less nausea, more tight.
Yeah. Okay.
My stomach's pulling it all in.
Yeah, so really feel that stomach pulling it all in. Yeah, trying to curl you up. Yeah, as I'm looking down on you.
What do either of you make with that piece of positional transference? You're on a tall thing looking down on me.
Yeah, and then when I go on to connect it to shame, I mean, as I watch it, it's I mean, I have that kind of visceral reaction of like, oh yeah, that's deep in a I guess a shameful place, or a place of just feeling like really less than, and I'm not quite sure why, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That I'm far away, right, on a tall building, looking down. You're less than. So just another layer of the negative transference.
Yeah. And is it like a kind of a critical looking, like a judgmental looking down upon? Is that the sense of it? Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So you're being seen, but in a really pretty negative way here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't connected it that way, but yeah.
Yeah, good
Like
point.
there's something here that I don't like being seen in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm doing something wrong.
Really feel that stomach.
I'm wondering if you're gonna be there for me.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. Yeah.
I'm like scared to ask you.
Yeah. Maybe I won't be here
Yeah.
for you. Still curling in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just like I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm fighting myself.
From curling in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, where's the fight?
It's like I'm at a decision point. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. Where is that decision point in your body?
It's
Like the type
such
of
an interesting question.
Yeah, it's a
My right shoulder.
right shoulder.
Yes.
That's preventing you from
It-
pulling in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, feel that right shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to pause
Yep,
it,
yep,
Saj?
shoulders going even more.
That was
So-
fantastic.
Yeah. So just to kind of reiterate what happens, I say, I feel like I'm at a decision point. Jackie says, where is that? Where do you feel that? And I say that's an interesting question because it doesn't occur to me that that's an experience in my body. And immediately I say, oh, it's in my right shoulder. And then my right shoulder turns on. And this happens continually in PSIP sessions, like attuning to the sensation in the body shows you that things like this are going on. And this is just such a beautiful example of like how quickly that turned on for me. And the decision point wasn't me necessarily thinking about it. The decision point was in my body, and my body made the decision.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the way I see it is like throughout the session, the conflict is in your body most of the time, Christian, right? It's it's in the arm and hand, clearly. We see that reaching, right? It's in the shoulder, right? It was in the leg, the way that I was interpreting it, and the leg that was pulling you down to the ground, closer to me in a sense.
Mhm.
Right. While the rest of the conflict, the no. So that's the yes toward connection. And then the no is in your torso, chest, stomach. That was my sense of it, of how it was
Totally.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like throughout the whole session, right? Pretty
Well-
much you're dipping in dissociation.
Totally. And to go way back when the first autonomic starts happening and I'm reaching toward you, it's my right shoulder.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
so we're back in a different way.
Yep. Another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to just adding to it. We typically think when somebody's make a decision, when you're watching this session and somebody's talking about like, oh, I have a decision point to make, we think of that as a cognitive process. And you can tell that there's something completely different going on because there's something that's not a cognitive process making this decision. That's why it's in your right shoulder and not like, a thought. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah.
Kicking and screaming, you are slowly making your way towards Jackie.
Exactly.
For real. Imagine if I could just reach out.
But you can't. But you can't. You would be overriding all of this if you just
Right.
reached out. Yeah.
Yeah. Just stay with it. Yeah. Tight stomach.
It's like my shoulder like drove me into the ground.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Bend the knees. You're shivering.
I'm getting really cold.
Getting really, really cold. Feel the cold. Feel the shiver.
I'm just so sad and scared.
Sad and scared. Yeah. So just feel it. Sad and scared. Shivering cold. All this. Yeah. 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 Finding your body. Finding your body. Cold, shivering. Yeah.
Wait. Oh God. It's way more scary than sad now. Oh my God.
If people didn't hear that, Christian started saying, oh, I'm so sad and scared. And now he's shifting over. He's saying it's way more scary than sad. Right? So I think this is indicative of us entering sort of, much more of a very different nervous system territory than what we've been in before. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just cold before also. He was cold, shivering.
Yeah.
Right. So state 3. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now moving on to state 2.
And And in my other sessions, the experience was more akin to panic and rage, not so much terror. And so, um, because at the time that I'm experiencing this, I'm still very new to the model. This is like really scary. I can't remember if I say this, but this is like as scared as I've ever been. And it plays out here, and you'll kind of see. I don't think this is clear in it as well, but I look up at Jackie here in a minute, and I have this memory when I looked up at her, she was like a monster. It's like this shadowed, I can still like see it in my mind. It's like this shadowed demon looking thing looking down on me. And so I am just fully embodied in this terror moment, experiencing this that's just deeply stored in my nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Christian. I mean, yeah, I didn't know that about the physical projection onto Jackie like that, your visual projection onto Jackie. But I mean, I think folks, if you've heard me teach, you've probably heard me say the phrase that, really working your attachment. I don't see that happening in ordinary consciousness. I don't see people being able to work their attachment using the window of tolerance model. And that's because of this. I mean, because of how exquisitely painful, how exquisitely scary, like it actually is for an infant to not have that secure attachment. It's terrifying. It's like, it's life-threatening we've had millions of years of evolution where if you did not have that secure attachment, if you were not being held, it means you were dying, right? And so, yeah, like I don't see people willingly go to this place through their mind. I see their nervous systems taking them there if they trust it enough, if they trust the relationship enough, if they trust the container enough. Yeah, they'll go there. Right?
Yeah, and to be in your body like Christian is now, right? Terrified, shivering, right? In relationship with me, as like in a moment you'll see when he turns his eyes toward me, like he sees a demon, right? This is a whole different experience to be in your body in relationship with a demon versus like having no body, just being floaty, right? Or even heavy in your body, right? This is state 2, right? That he's going into more and more, which is, the gold, right? It's absolutely the nightmare, right? But it's exactly what we want, right? To move the energy through his system, to move through the terror that's underneath all of the dissociation and transference.
Yeah, I think that was really nicely put. He's here for it, right? He's here for the fear as opposed to floating in outer space for it while it's taking place.
If you can just. Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, see what that's like. Yep. Yeah, as you look at me. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yep.
Please hold me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I'm so sweaty. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're sorry. Oh. Yeah. 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 Can you feel me holding you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm right here with you.
You still feel.
Yeah. I'm right here. Yeah. And keep finding your body. See what's here in body. Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, still shaking. Yeah. Hot.
Can I wrap around you?
Yeah. Let's let your body do
It's
this.
okay.
Okay. Let your body do it though, and just go slow. Yeah.
Let's not wrap.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not wrap.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it unravel all on its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I have no more tears left.
Okay.
I still need to cry.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still more. Yep. Yeah.
In my body.
Yeah. What's here in your body? Arm's still shaking. Yeah. What else is here?
My legs. They just want to unravel.
Okay.
They want to just fall out.
Yeah.
They feel like they're wedged up.
Ah. Okay.
They just want to fall.
Yeah. So let them unravel on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't help out at all.
It just feels so fucking. Yeah.
Feels so fucking.
They're heavy. They're being pulled.
They're being pulled. Your legs. Let them be pulled. Yeah. Where are they being pulled from?
From below.
From below.
From my feet.
Your feet? Yeah. Okay. So feel that pulling from your feet.
Whoa.
Yeah, more shaking.
My left arm just woke up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, left arm really going. Yep. Yeah. Let's just watch you unravel. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. I see that. I'm right here. Yeah, yeah. Notice everything about this place. Yeah. Looking at me. Yeah. Yep.
Christian, is Demon here in this moment? Do you remember? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. So it was back when I was huddled up and I turn and I look at her, and it's a split moment, and you can see after I turn to her. But I think at this point, to your point earlier, it's a continuation in my process, and it's a willingness and an acceptance of her being here with me, which is we're right on the precipice of the state 2 wave, and I think this is what finally brings me through it.
Okay. But the visual projection on the Jackie, is it changing at this point?
Yeah. The demon thing was just like momentarily when I was huddled up in that little ball, and I peek up and I look at her, and then I
Got it.
Yeah, come back down. Yeah.
Do you remember what you were seeing now, Christian? I know it was a while ago.
I can't remember a specific visual projection. I think I can just see that it's like I'm leaning into it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really scary. Yeah. Say that I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you're scared. Yeah. Yeah. Really scared. Yeah. 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 Wanting to hold me, but really scared. Yeah. Yep. Unraveling. Yep. Yeah. Coming closer. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah. 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 Yep. Getting really close. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yep. I'm good. Yeah. 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 Just keep feeling it. Keep finding your body here. Shaking all over. Yeah. Scared. Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to just let go to you.
Yeah, I know. Just keep following what your body's doing here. Yeah. Yeah, wanting to let go, but lots of shaking. Yeah. 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 Can you feel me holding you? Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. Let's just see what your body does. Yeah. I know you really want to relax. Want to relax in my arms. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Feel that. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Stay there. Yep. You got it. You got it. You got it. I'm right here. Yeah. 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 Yep. You got it. I'm right here. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. 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 Keep feeling it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right here. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Hold on tight. holding you tight. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the body let go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
The side let go.
Yeah.
The side.
Yeah. Your body let go.
Let go.
Yeah.
What? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my god. I'm so sweaty. I'm sorry.
I know, it's okay. I am too. We're sweaty together. Letting go. Yeah. Yeah. Just feel your body here. Feel what that's like.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What do you notice?
You.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's so relieving.
Yeah. How does that feel in your body?
You feel so, I don't know how to say it other than real.
Real. Yeah.
It's real.
And I feel real?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
You feel real and I feel real.
It feels just real.
Yeah.
Folks, just notice how this is not insight. This is a direct experience shift that we're looking at here. Like, if you didn't hear it, Christian's saying, you feel real. You know, you're here, you're real. I can feel you.
Like
Wonderful.
feeling
Yeah. Yep. My real knee.
it's real.
Yeah. 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 Yep.
That was a straight up nightmare.
Yeah.
Curled up
Yeah.
in the corner.
Yeah. You were terrified.
As scared as I've ever been.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I've never felt that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrifying. Yeah.
And you're here.
And I'm here. I'm right here.
And you're here.
Still here.
Will you pause, Saj?
Oh my.
So you hear me say, and you're here. And I kind of just answered this to somebody in the chat, but this is what insisting on the relationship to what Jackie was saying earlier. You can go anywhere and I'm going to be there with you. You can float away. You can go here. You can go into the nightmare and I'm still going to be here. My understanding and what I've seen is we repress and create an entire life constructed around avoiding these states because we believe if I went into this state, it would alienate me from everyone around me and I would be left alone. And this is like the experience of going into the state and having a relationship to pull a person through. I mean, I don't know if that's the best way of saying it, pull someone through, but that's how I think about it. Pull them through the state to wave, showing me that like, oh, I can experience this and it's not going to leave me alone or make me less than or whatever that looks like. I'd be curious what you think, Saj or Jackie, on that.
Yeah, that it's not going to like annihilate you, right? We see that with people, right, that go to the far reaches of state 4. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to dissolve into nothing, right? Or that it's not going to kill you going the other direction, right? Going into this terror state, complete terror, facing the monster, like literally, right? Yeah, no, that's really beautifully said, Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, I think of it as you're exposing a visceral myth that lives in your system. And you're like saying like, okay, let's do this. And it's not you saying it, it's your nervous system saying it, it's your bottom up process saying it. And let's go into this place that you're convinced is full of alienation or has no solution to it, no goodness to it, and you go into it and because relationship accompanies you the whole way through, you do make it to the other side. So I like that terminology. The relationship pulls you through the most difficult parts of this. Yeah. Okay, we're in the last little bit here, folks.
My God, I'm so sweaty.
I see that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a really big wave.
that's my life.
Say more.
That's my life, dude.
How so?
Wanting to reach out so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but not being able to. Yeah. Desperately wanting to reach out.
My body reenacted the fundamental dilemma.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's insane. Actually, it's the complete opposite of insane. That is the most sane thing
Yeah.
to ever happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you believe I'm thanking you for that?
It's a mixed bag.
But for real.
Yeah.
But for real.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I was scared like that the first time, but I was scared and invisible.
Exactly. Yeah, you were in your body.
This time I was scared and I was seen, and that was more scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
I would say that was like that's a difference.
Yep.
Scared in relationship.
Yes. Fully
Yeah.
in relationship.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But like I said, the fundamental question of my life has been, what do I do to limit my ability to give and receive
That's
love?
right. Yeah.
And to have that, I mean, that was a visceral reenactment, or that was a visceral revelation of what I do.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Massive conflict inside.
that is powerful medicine.
And that was 2 puffs of cannabis?
2 puffs of cannabis.
Okay. Okay, folks. Yay. What a wild ride that we are all on. If you agree, if you consent to the ride, it is a wild one. I have no words for it right now. It was beautiful, right? I would say when I see something like that, which is common enough in this model, right, and certainly in our trainings, I would say that it looks scary from the outside, and as Christian reported, it's scary from the inside. You use the phrase, it's as scared as you've ever been. I would suggest there's one other clear time that at least that you were that scared that what this is all referencing, right? Except for with less relationship and less resources and a tiny baby body. But I'll say for myself when I see that, like I will take that, that very organic hour and a half of hell, whatever it takes to get to that end point, because once you get to the end point, then you have your whole life. You have like there's more of you on the other side of all of that terror. You're break, and I would say that like the real scariness of it is really the first time you're cresting one of those state 2 waves, because that's when you're fully believing that this is going to destroy you. But after you've done that, anywhere from, 3, 4, maybe up to 5 times, and each time your nervous system takes you into this place where you're convinced you're gonna be destroyed, and you're not. You come through. Each time you get more confidence, you get more trust of the process, trust of yourself. And again, like there's this, it's almost like the signal that goes out through your system that, all the things in your life, in your history that you've had to compartmentalize, that you've had to dissociate around, there's a signal that goes out to those events that says, hey, there's a way through here. We're not going to be destroyed if we go into this. So again, the visceral myth is exposed for what it is.
Yeah. I there's been some iteration of this question in the comments, so I would love to just answer it. But basically, like, what do I notice afterward? And I think, as I say in the session, like part of it is, so Saj was talking about like we have this material back here. So until this session, there's this story or this nightmare playing out behind me that's telling me I can't reach out for people. I can't reach out for connection. And it's not necessarily conscious. I'm not walking around thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to reach out to them, but I'm not. I am on some level, but I'm not doing it. So one of the most profound changes after this session is just an acute awareness when that's happening. It doesn't mean that never happens again, but it's like we pulled all this forward, and now it's a lens that I can look through the world, look through to see the world. And it also, I mean, all of that said, it has increased my capacity for relationship. It's increased my ability to, I mean, really the way that I would describe it is my ability to give and receive love, to myself and to others around me. I think Saj and Jack would probably agree with this, but it's not like this session, now cures all my attachment related problems, but it moves me forward toward an ease of relating to people that like I couldn't find otherwise. And another one, simply put, like I can cry now. Like, and that's a big deal for me. I watched a YouTube video the other day of music. This has happened a couple times in the last few months, and I cry because it's so beautiful and I can actually embody and experience the felt sense of beauty. Now, I can't necessarily say that this session is what did that for me, but this type of work is what has given that to me. And so it's just being embodied, really. I mean, that's like kind of what it comes down to. I can actually feel and be in my body.
Beautiful. Should we move to the Q&A?
Before we go to the Q&A, I just want to piggyback on that point, Christian, that, folks, if you had to dissociate really, really early in life, if you had to be floating in outer space to deal with the circumstances of your life, that's a pretty kind of pervasive global thing that's happening to you, right? Like a really like core part of your humanness is floating in outer space. And we're not talking about just then, we're talking about right now, this very moment. If you had childhood trauma or this kind of abandonment wounding this attachment wounding happen to you, then there is a part of you that's floating in state 4. The only thing is you don't notice it. It's really well covered up. Your conscious mind is covering it up. It's doing a beautiful job hiding your attachment wound from you. But if you go in with medicine and you have a container that's actually pressurizing you into sort of reassociating to what's going on for you, you're gonna find yourself floating in outer space like that. And I think it does have a direct correlation to, being able to feel beauty in the world, walking. For me, my experience of doing this work is, I can walk down the street on a summer day and I could feel the trees. I could feel nature. I could feel things like that I wouldn't have been able to feel before. And it touches me. So I would say, there's a sensitivity to life that happens here. There's a sort of an empathy with life that happens here. That you don't have to be protected. You don't have to guard yourself against the world because you've seen your demons. You've gone through it all, and you're here on the other side of it. So,
I've had that exact same experience, Saj, like walking down the street and seeing a flower and experiencing a beautiful flower, not thinking about a beautiful flower. But before I engaged in this type of work, I couldn't have told you the difference. It's a whole new paradigm that I had lived in, 10, 15 years of shame and some level of dissociation. So I didn't even know how disconnected I was until we got back into the body. And then it's like, oh my gosh, how have I been missing all of this?
Yeah. And then if or when the dissociation comes back, right, in a moment, right, in our day-to-day life, because it usually takes, right, going through many waves for most of us that have, right, especially this early attachment trauma, then at least we have a context for understanding that dissociation.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, I have brain fog. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know how to move through it, right? No, we have a whole like relational context or framework to understand it, right? That it's relational, right? This is dissociation, right? And what's happening right now in the moment? What am I thinking about relationally, maybe? Who am I with right now? Like, right, to give us a way to kind of start to move through it, right? We first have to understand it.
That's kind of what I was saying earlier about associating to dissociation and understanding it's this nuanced state. And this work has built, yeah, to your point, Jackie, just a keen awareness of iterations of that state. So yeah, I mean, Saj, I've heard you say like the last person to know they're dissociated is the person that's dissociated. And I would agree with that until doing this work. And now I'm like, oh, I can tell that I'm dissociating. That's what's going on. And then I have an option to do something about it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from either of you, or should we go to the Q&A?
I'm good.
Great. Jean, you want to chime in and we can open the door to the questions that people have?
Yes, absolutely. But first of all, I think I speak on behalf of everybody. Thank you guys so much for this wonderful presentation. I'm reading all the questions and like just a lot of them is just like people being blown away by what you guys just presented. And so excited to share this with everyone else that wasn't able to make it to the presentation today. But yeah, okay.
Can I
let's
just make a quick point to that? Guys, this is Tuesday at PSI, right? This is, fairly normal for what we see. And this is why I'm in love with this work. I'm in love with these medicines. This is cannabis, right? And we can do this with ketamine too, but fundamentally how we're relating to this work is that the medicine is essential, but it's not the only thing. It's not we're relying on the medicine, but we're also relying a whole lot on these interventions that we have. We're relying on the relationship. We're relying on a person's innate health that shows up in terms of their nervous system process. And so we can do this with fully legal, easily available medicines. And in fact, I love working with both cannabis and ketamine because they're an 1.5-hour session typically, and not an 8-hour session. And so, you can build this type of work into a private practice context. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So our first question is from David Beedelman. David asks, in the PSIP model, I've noticed client-clinician interactions where clients appear incredibly verbal and articulate, even when seemingly far from objective reality under the influence of medicine. This contrasts with my own experiences, where verbal coherence is much more challenging. Could you elaborate on how this level of articulation is possible and whether it is cultivated through the model or reflective of specific client presentations?
That's a great question.
I can speak to that. That's actually come up in my personal sessions where what me and my therapist realized was the dosing was too high, the dosing of the cannabis. And just by lowering the dose, I had much more access to me, right? So I ended up being more verbal, where with too much of the cannabis, it was just like this really spacey, much more immersive experience where I like it was just so much effort to speak. So so that's one thing to consider. It could be a dosing issue. Yeah.
I could also see it being a developmental issue, meaning,
Yeah.
how old are you? What is the regression taking you back to, right? And I've certainly had experiences where the regression was so far back that it was, I mean, it was infantile, and the process was not going to be verbal at all. But even with that, I mean, if somebody was you know, cueing me for verbal information, then it would be really basic, like tight, hot, cold. It wouldn't be sort of full sentences or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can also speak to that too. I think there's like a performative or pleasing part of me. Remember, this is my training session, and there is a desire in me to do it right, you know? And so you hear me at one point where I'm like, oh, I broke the SI container. Damn it. Like I'm so wanting to do it correctly. Um, and thankfully it didn't really detract from the process. My nervous system still went there, but I could see how that can play into it sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah. And when people are deep in dissociation, they tend to be less verbal, right? Their nervous system has slowed down, right? At an extreme, like the way I think about it is it can go into hibernation, right? Where there's just not much life in the system, right? And that's going to include words. So that piggybacks on what you were saying, Saj, right? Especially if it's pre-verbal trauma, right? Babies don't have words. So yeah, be developmental.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Well, the next question comes from Adam. And Adam asks, can you share more about when it is safe to go into exploring negative transference like this? What characteristics of Christian assured you that this would be okay? What specific characteristics of a different client would be a flag that they might not have the capacity or reality testing to go into exploring negative transference? Is there a stage of needing to build up some level of positive alliance or transference that is usually needed first?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is their system shifting, right? Is new material coming up, or are they just stuck or looping, right? Where their system is just going in circles around the same material again and again, right? So if there is solution on board or enough solution, you'll see that their system is shifting, and it can shift in one of two directions. They can go deeper into dissociation, right? So new dissociative material is emerging to be cleared ultimately, or their system could go the other way into activation, into the hot symptoms, like we saw at the end with Christian, right? So is their system shifting? And, right, just kind of goes along with it, can they be present with whatever's here, right? So if it's a cold symptom, like feeling helpless and hopeless, can they just be present with that? Or are they, right, resorting to coming out of container, going up into their head, right, physically moving to get more comfortable, right? So that's another clue that you can keep your eye on.
There was some level of choice for me here too, because in the training, I had already done a couple of sessions with Saj and Daniel, not eye gazing, and we decided we want to do an eye gazing session. And my visceral reaction was like, I don't want to do an eye gazing session with a male. And I have ideas of why that is, but I was much more open to doing an eye gazing session with Jackie. Um, and that's just a knowing for me. And I've still yet to do an eye gazing session with a male, and I'm still freaked out by it. So
Yeah. The other thing I'll say about the transference, because I think there are a few questions in the Q&A about the transference piece. The way that we have it laid out in the protocol is that if somebody has not had a positive adult relational figure in their life, meaning that they didn't have grandma, they didn't have a teacher, they didn't have, the good uncle or something like that, that they could have, that they didn't internalize that kind of positive solution role, then it's up to the therapist to become that, right? To build that out in the client's system. And we will insist on doing that before opening the door to negative transference. Because we won't see completion of the wave without that, right? But then you do have other people that have a lot more internalized solutions that they're bringing to the table. Christian system had that, and so we could pressurize in that way. Yeah, and we will frequently, one good medicine for building out that positive transference with that savior transference is ketamine, right? I think that's very difficult to do with cannabis because cannabis really pressurizes the system in a really good way, but and it really it breaks down dissociation in a really good way, such that it's an incredibly useful medicine. But it won't allow us to do what ketamine will allow us to do, which is really build out the positive role in somebody's psyche if they don't have it. Yeah, there are a lot of questions here. I don't think we'll get.
There are a bunch of questions, and thank you, Christian, for already answering like a few of them by typing out the answers. But we have another one here from Katie, and Katie asks, does the cannabis still work in a similar way when folks use recreationally?
You want to speak to that?
Yes.
I just love thinking about that, because if this is what was happening to people who were smoking cannabis recreationally, no one would smoke cannabis.
Exactly. Dispensaries.
Yeah, right. So much of it is about the selective inhibition, the SI container. I mean, that's what really kind of squeezes the container and creates that charge in the nervous system to go there. So,
yeah.
I mean, I've smoked cannabis for 15 years and never experienced anything like this. And so going into the PSIP container was just like, what? How did this happen? Yeah.
Yeah, so the eye shades, the being in relationship, right? There's all these things that are provoking material, right? We're not just like hanging out, looking at our friends, right? If we're using it recreationally, right? We're pressurizing the system with the cannabis, the eye shades, the sustained eye contact. So it's a whole different experience.
Yeah. And one of the other ways that we're pressurizing people is that we're not allowing them to, again, with their consent, right? They're agreeing to be in the container, but we're not allowing them to shift into channels that are not direct experience related, because then that will tend to that'll dilute the process. Direct experience will take you to the nervous system, and that will take you to the compromise that's living in the nervous system. If people go to visual channels, typically, like visual channels go to imagination, and that's typically like a resourcing channel. Very, very frequently, it doesn't have to be. But oftentimes, it could be one visual image after another, after another, after another, and it could be fascinating visual images, but they're not going to go to where the compromise lives in the nervous system.
Mm-hmm. Katie asked that question, and she just clarified a little bit, not asking if it works when they smoke recreationally, I'm asking if they can still experience a wave or similar when they're in the container. If
Oh,
the,
they're
yeah,
using recreationally.
yeah.
Yeah. We did a pilot study with a group of combat vets, and these guys used enormous amounts of cannabis between their sessions, and I would say it's not as clean of an experience. It's more ideal if the person wasn't using cannabis every day between their sessions. But having said that, it still works.
Great, thank you guys. Another question from Raul. Raul asks, with this level of attunement, how does one reintegrate and experience a renewed sense of relationality in a world in which most will never visit these states?
I'm not following the question.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Yeah, please.
Would that be helpful? Okay, great. So again, with this level of attunement, how does one reintegrate and experience a renewed sense of relationality in a world in which most will never visit these states?
Well, I would hope that this is once you experience oh, this is what it is to be attuned to, maybe it becomes part of your dating profile, right? Maybe it's something that you begin to expect of people around you and you begin to offer of people around you. Yeah? And yeah, this is this is a level of attunement. You're absolutely right with that, where, I kind of jokingly say that in a PSIP session, if your eyebrow goes up, your therapist is going to ask you about it. Yeah. They're going to say oh, what happened right there? So yeah, it is a high level of attunement. But having said that, we do integrate it. There's new learning. That's there's our brains are undergoing a plasticity when we're in a psychedelic state. So you're absolutely relearning what relationship feels like. Thank God. Right? I mean, look at so much of the processing that people do in these sessions is about sort of relearning how relationship can feel, how touch can feel, how being seen can feel, right? Just that one moment we were talking about in Christian's process where it's oh no, you're standing on something high above me, looking down on me. It's like those are the types of core early programming that we can rework. And yeah, the outside world is not going to be as attuned as these sessions are, but we can it's a spectrum, right? So we can move more towards that.
Yeah, and once this relational pathway has been built out, right? So we could say Christian system got a huge taste, right, of what it's like to be in connection, right? Then there's a bottom up process that happens in our day-to-day life, right? Kind of separating out top down, right? Once that terror charge, right, is moved through the system, terror of the other, right? Our system is just organically going to be more open, feel more settled, right? At least for a while, right? And will be more available, literally more open, right? When that terror is moved through the system. Yeah. So there's a bottom-up integration occurrence happening as well.
Yeah, I would say there's room for newness, right? Once the terror is not there, you can actually have an encounter with somebody and sit across from them at coffee and actually see that person much more than you're seeing your history. There's a question here that and folks, again, we're just kind of going through, and I'm actually, first of all, I'm seeing a lot of people from our training, so good to see you all here, and there's a bunch of new people here too. So there is a question here that I thought would be really useful. I don't think we've touched on this before, but it's from Peyton, and you're asking, how are boundaries around touch negotiated, given you do not want to inhibit cognitively? Okay, I didn't understand the second part of that question, Peyton. So if you want to clarify, you're welcome to. But I did. But it did bring to me, the fact that there was like touch in this session was essential, right? And especially like when people are in these deeply regressed states, touch is going to be essential. And so you have to be comfortable with it. If you're going to be working with medicine, if you're going to be, so first of all, I get it. Touch leads to complications. It leads to boundary violations. All of that can happen. And I think, but that's not a reason to throw out this fundamental way that human beings know of the existence of other human beings. Right? So I think we have to find a way to incorporate touch into the session, because especially when people are regressed to infancy, you're not gonna like talk to an infant, right? You're gonna like, an infant is gonna know that you're there through reaching out and making contact with your face. Right? So it really points to the fact that I think a lot of your work has to be done for you to be able to, be that fluid and that clean in that space. But I know, Jean, you let Peyton into the room here, so maybe we can get a clarification on the question here.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. This has been really amazing. So just to clarify, I think you folks call it the SI. Is that what you call it? Like where you're not like top down trying to regulate
Yeah.
or anything like that. Yeah, like because I imagine, you know, you don't want to pull the client out, but then if the client starts, I don't know, like if there's sexual trauma or this kind of thing, like I guess I was just curious how that's navigated in respect to the clinician's boundaries. And I think, for example, there was like a hand on a knee, and I think the clinician clearly looked comfortable there, but I don't know, I was just curious about how you would navigate that without pulling the client out, if at all. Does that clarify?
Can you give an example of what you think would be complicating or problematic?
I guess just like I'm not sure exactly. Like, for example, I don't know if this has come up, but maybe if there's something around like breastfeeding or like things like that, where a client might end up moving towards like a chest of a clinician or something like that. I don't know because I have not watched that many videos of sessions, so I don't know if that tends to come up, but I guess just stuff that might be like more like private parts of the clinician. Has that come up for you guys?
Mhm. Jackie, you want to go for it? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. What I find that this isn't always the case, but almost, I would say most of the times, is that when you're in the heart of the trauma, the attachment trauma, not the low-hanging fruit, but like the earliest or the early, right? I don't know. I'm just making this up, but before age 5, let's say, right? It's gonna feel very different to you and your system. Right. So it's like with this session with Christian, I've certainly felt this with other clients when I'm in that really young, relating to that really young child. It feels like a child.
Mm.
Right. So and I work very intuitively, so it feels right for me. Like I was very comfortable, like as he's holding me, as his hand is on, I felt like I was holding a young child. And I've also had sessions, it's not as common, right, where it didn't feel that way. It felt like maybe there was some secondary consciousness on board, or their system wasn't like as deep into the trauma. There was like something holding them back from going to the earlier states of the attachment trauma, whether it's mind or a management system, and it's a different feeling that I feel like in my body. And what I've done if they start to move toward me in that way and I don't feel comfortable, like I might, if there's an impulse that's coming toward me, some part of my body that doesn't feel okay, I might put a pillow in front to block it. or I might kind of move out of the way. Like there's different ways to work with it, but I think you absolutely need to listen to yourself, right? If you're not comfortable, then you need to take care of yourself, because if you don't, the client's going to feel it. They're going to feel that rejection, right? And it's not going to go well,
They're going to feel
right? So
stiffen up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to honor really what you're comfortable with. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, and I think my way of answering that is, typically we're going to really intense trauma places. The process is taking people to intense trauma places. So I would agree. You can feel the regressed child in the room, or you can feel the desperation of just like somebody reaching for, it's not. I mean, I've had people act out sexual trauma before, right? But again, it's trauma. It's not sex. It's not, and so I think that's the framing that I've never. I'll just put it this way, and maybe this is, me being a guy, but I've never been in a session where I thought that like, okay, I feel like some kind of boundaries being crossed when somebody's operating in primary consciousness, when they're in the container. Then it's like, okay, I can intuitively feel that they're operating in response to sort of this very scary, life-threatening kind of thing that's going on for them, and it's just, you can feel the honesty of it, you can feel the sincerity of it, and use a pillow if you need to. I like that too. Yeah. And
you can just redirect their attention, right? That's another way to deal with it. If you don't feel like it's going in a direction that feels okay for you, have them focus on something else that's coming up, in their body or in their immediate awareness, right? Just redirect.
Yeah.
Or kind of piggybacking on what Saj is saying, like really try to get to like what's underneath if it's sexual transference that's coming out, like try to redirect to what's underneath, right? Because it's that's kind of the low-hanging fruit, right? Developmentally, oftentimes, not for everybody, right, is the sexual transference that's coming out, right? But this is an attachment transference model, so there's usually a deeper layer of the transference underneath the sexual transference to be had.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Well, I think we're almost at our 2.5 hour mark. I don't know how you guys feel about keeping it going, because I feel like our questions just like keep coming in. There's so many good questions from people. But before all that, I just want to share the offer that we had at the beginning of this presentation. We're giving, for those of you guys that have stuck around, we are giving you guys a free 30-minute one-on-one consultation with Saj. And this is available for, well, most of our participants today are mental health professionals, practitioners, clinicians. So this applies to you guys. And so I'm going to be dropping that link right now. And this is an exclusive link that we're going to be using for this presentation. Once it's gone, we're not going to be offering this to anybody. You can avail the consultation. It's always available on our website, but we usually charge $250 for 30 minutes of a one-on-one consultation with Saj. So what is this consultation about? It's a consultation that you can basically use for your own personal process, working with trauma or psychedelics. Or if you're a clinician or if you're a mental health practitioner, you can use it as a very informal supervisory consultation with Saj. And so once again, the link is in the chat, the webinar chat, and you can fill that in, and we will write back to you as soon as we go through your form. So yeah, please take advantage of this offer that we're giving everybody, and it's super fun. I think Saj, would you like to talk about your experience of like providing these consultations with people?
No, I love it. It's always like, usually these consults are people that are working with psychedelics themselves, and they're like bumping into something or an obstacle, or they know something about the PSIP model, and they're wanting to get sort of a body based or nervous system based perspective on sort of what they're running into. And so I love like taking it's just a half hour, but it's enough time for us to like really get kind of precise on what might be going on for you. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, and Christian, thank you so much for catching that one. I placed the link directly to Saj, so here it is again for everybody. Again, please take advantage of that, and yeah, and I just want to also briefly just talk about our trainings for 2025. So if you are interested in joining us for an apprentice training, we have new dates.
Before you
Yes,
start,
Saj, go ahead.
let me just preface what you're about to say, which is to say, folks, I just want to say there is such good news here with, I mean, we work, as you can imagine, we're working with some really pretty intense trauma that people have, pretty, lifelong, highly dissociative trauma. And what I see with this is that we are capable of going back there and redoing it. We're capable of, and I don't mean that like, oh, here I am as an adult and I'm seeing and I'm thinking about what it was like to be a kid and what I was imagining what it would have been like to have like good parenting or something like that. I'm saying actually your system's going back, regressing, and you're looking at the world through the eyes of through infant eyes, and you're touching the world through infant hands, and you're getting to redo it. And so if this is all to say that, I think that we're at a very exciting time in the world of mental health, not just with these new medicines becoming available, but with what medicines that we actually do have available right now. And the way we're working with this as an organization is we're focusing on the interventions, the psychotherapeutic, the relational, the biological interventions that we can have that allow for these types of, self-correction to take place. So everybody who's on the team is mission-driven to be on the team. We love this work. Whenever we're around each other, we give each other sessions and sort of go deeper with our process. So I would say if you're at all interested in this work, you can either find somebody to receive the work from on our website, and we're actually opening up a direct to consumer kind of training for that, which is not here yet, but will be in 2025. And so you can do self-guided work. Or if you're interested in being able to provide this work as a practitioner, then please do join us for that. I think we'd love to have you.
Absolutely, we would. And our 2025 trainings are released on our website. Our January and February trainings are already actually full. So if you guys want to join us, we're in the US, we're in Canada, we're in Europe. We're also in Australia, and we're in Puerto Rico, where Saj is. So if you want to train with Saj or other instructors, we're pretty much in a lot of different places, and we're going to be in so many more other places like Hawaii, New York, somewhere down the line. But yeah, I also should mention that a participant was asking if there's more videos like this that are available, and the answer is yes. So we're kind of the only psychedelic therapy training organization that releases our videos online. And we make them available on our website and also on our YouTube channel, which you guys will all receive an email after this webinar with additional resources like reading materials. If you're still wondering if this is the right training for you, we have a web page for that. And then, yeah, if you're curious to see more of what this work looks like, there's a bunch of like YouTube videos that we put out, very long form content, not just like snippets, but like actually going in depth. And we also have our other webinars, our panel discussions available on there. So again, if you're interested, please visit our website, and we're very excited to hopefully see you in one of our trainings next year.
I,
Yes.
I,
And lastly, oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I found PSI because I was interested in psychedelic training, and I was pretty disenfranchised with the whole training landscape because so few, if any, have an experiential component. And so when I read the white paper and saw that there was actually like the whole part one is just experience, um, that's kind of what drew me to it. And my opinion of it was only reinforced through part one, part two, part three. Just a little plug for what it's worth. Saj didn't ask me to do that, but that's my honest feeling. So that's my kind of recommendation. If the training is not experiential, I mean, yeah, I could talk a bunch about that, but something to consider.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christian. And so, you guys, I think we are now in the 2.5 hour mark, and we still have a bunch of questions. So I think what we're gonna do, as we always do or typically do for these presentations, we'll collect all of your questions and we'll organize around like a follow-up video recording of our presenters for today, and they'll just answer your questions, and we'll put that out on our website and our YouTube channel. But thank you again so much to you guys for presenting today, especially Christian for sharing your video, for making it available for everybody, sharing such a vulnerable experience. And I think I speak for everybody here. It was mind-blowing, and thank you for sharing your insights with us, you guys. And to everybody that participated today and made it through the end, thank you all so much. And we hope to see you in that consultation. And our trainings as well.
All right. All right, take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Christian.